Hi, everybody. Let's have a relaxing chill. And I'm supposed to be here talking about Unity's animation rigging package, which I've added to my figure. And basically, what you can see is now as I move my head around, my body follows, which it was doing before, but I think animation rigging is definitely doing it a bit smoother with a lot more control. I'll show you that in a minute, but first I'm showing off my lighting, which I think looks much more interesting than looking at stupid Unity components. The face cap component that you can download from GitHub has kind of a simplistic 3-bone IK chain. Oh, wait, so the problem is when you try to add like an idle animation, you can't really tell the difference, but I do have an idle animation running on this figure now. But now that I'm running an idle on the animator component, face cap receiver loses control over all head movement. The animator is dominant, even though I set the IK chain pass through in the animator component. You know what? I don't want to talk about like technical bullshit. I just kind of want to show. I just want to show this lighting thing. All right. So the other thing that I've done, so I've downloaded the animation rigging and blah blah. I hooked it up to this figure, and it's got some really nice it has a really nice IK chain, which I put from head down to like I think spine 1, which is like, you know, like around your stomach. And now she kind of flows back and forth. And I've also implemented the position control from FaceCap. So let me tone down my gobos. So Unity calls these cookies. I call them gobos. I'm also using a plugin. I think it's called Color Cookies or something, like Color Light Cookies or something like that. I'll put a link. It's not expensive, and it does have a few compatibilities with some shaders because it replaces Unity's standard default shader. But it just works like a light cookie, basically. Only it's in color, so you use any color texture. Well, the downside is that now cookies don't work, so you have to change over all your cookies to textures. So you see I can get these colors into the light gobo, and in theater these are called gobos, these are not called cookies. So I can control my lighting angle and spread the gobo out, and as you can see some of them are very low res because I just kind of threw them in there. Here's my spotlight, and I can dim this down. I have controls to rotate the light. How's this all working? Well, I'm using, as you probably remember, or you know because you're doing it yourself, FaceCap transmits to Unity using OSC, specifically one person's implementation of OSC for Unity, Ext OSC. And so what I've done is I have created a little control surface on an iPod Touch using Touch OSC. So if you've been in the electronic music scene for like half a minute, you've come across Touch OSC as a convenient controller. You build custom control windows. Now this one's not hooked up to a camera, but basically like I would be able to orbit my camera. Maybe I'll be able to turn on a free roaming kind of float camera. I haven't really decided how that's going to work. I'll be able to like zoom in and out. And obviously this is not connected to anything. And I can also like assign, this is my plan, is to assign like a point of interest for the camera to point at. And since the camera can orbit around this point, I also need to be able to move the point in Z depth. Thanks, iPod Touch. Let me give you a power source here. So the idea was that I would stop using my keyboard to do all of this kind of control stuff, and instead I'm looking down at my hand holding an iPod Touch. So it's pretty convenient though. Like I have here my gobos, like with one click of a button I can swap out my gobo textures. Where's this noir one? And up here, similar to my idea of the orbit camera, I can kind of swing this lighting around. And also the pitch. Let's see what's good for noir lighting. Now I'm kind of working out how I'm going to break this all down. But yeah, so my animation rigging tutorial is quickly becoming a Unity lighting tutorial, and maybe that's actually just a little more important. Alright, so I have a key light. That's my spotlight. More dazzling. I'm gonna turn off my Touch OSC background, and so I'm gonna go back to my video layer background. So normally if I'm doing a tutorial, you know, it'll be like a little shrunken head down here. And this video wall in the background would be my desktop, probably from my PC. But instead, I just want to show you how to mix pretty lighting for portraits in Unity. See, this is the wrong tutorial. Animation rigging package. Go download it in your package manager. It's awesome. Set it up and you're done. What more do you want from me? Okay, give me some of these cool stars. Okay. So I have these stars. And you can't really see my skin, but you see the stars really good, right? Now, if I go to my ambient lighting, and I dial up my ambient lighting, you can still see me pretty good, okay? So all is not lost. I'm just doing something for fun. Now my key light, which is this spotlight with a gobo texture, a cookie. I can dial this down so it's real subtle. And now I'm getting like almost no light. Here, let's dial it back in just a bit more. gonna go back to that. My dots. Alright, so this is the same video layer on the background as being projected onto my skin through this texture cookie. And I still can control the size of this texture cookie with my spotlight angle control. I just want to fill the whole person. And I'm going to dial it up. Now it's like super bright. Like my character should be like, ow, what is this bright light? I am devastated. Alright, so now I'm going to dial down the ambient, which is acting as my fill lighting. So actually I'm just going to zoom it all the way out. No fill lighting. So now I have this front projector, and you see I'm quite mysterious. You can still make out some details, like weirdly you can make out my eyelashes. I think that's a flaw in my material settings. But you can still, in the shadows, let me come in real close. You can see some details on my neck, on my chin, around my nose, even my teeth. And what this is reflection. This is a reflection probe, which is actually using, it's kind of acting as its own rim light in a way. And probably in normal situations you would use reflections as a rim light. That's sort of how they're set up in Unity. And if I turn them all the way up, in fact I can turn up. Let me just turn out my spotlights. Now all you're seeing is reflection. Why would you want this? Well, okay, so the background is implying that, you know, this is a very kind of a strange lighting environment. There's a lot of highlights, but mostly it's a dark environment. So to kind of match that, I can tune the, now I can go all the way out, and you still see my eyelashes because, like I said, I think I have that set wrong. In fact, I think that's an unlit shader, which, yeah, I need to fix. But as I dial in this reflection, you're gonna get this nice little sting of highlight on all of my fall-off edges. So that's my chin. It's even my eyes when I turn kind of, you know, to the side. Now you're seeing some hair highlights. That's a special effect shader. It is getting its own, see my shoulders being lit by this backlight. The hair is getting its own version of that backlight. So, you know, don't expect everything is magic. About 1/3 of this is magic, and 2/3 of this is just smoke and mirrors and extra lights and layers. Okay, wait. So now I'm going to bring up the brightness on my key light. Very dramatic, right? Let me pull this down just a bit so you're seeing more of the effect. So this is kind of I'm like a sinister person. Or a duplicitous person. I'm lying. My character's lying because you can't see all of me at once. You see how that works? If part of me is in shadows and what you can see is constantly shifting, I'm a chameleon. Okay? This is a sinister character. I'm under mind control. I'm being duplicitous. Watch out. Alright, but if I just want some, like, you know, I'm a sexy person. And this lighting is just some sexy sparkles. Some highlights making me look sexy. So I'm going to bring up my fill. Yeah, you see now it's almost like a like a music video, like a commercial. This is just something flattering, some sizzle, as they say in the TV industry, some sizzle. In fact, that's what the background is too. It's like sizzle. It's just some activity. It's not real motion. It's sort of like constant motion without moving. Movement without travel. Sizzle. Now you know. You learned something on my channel. Now, look, see how this is like kind of ridiculous? This is too much. So what I'm going to do is put this over on the edge. So basically this is an edge light. And yeah, I could do this with like my main spotlight. Let's look at those differences again. Here I'm taking out the ambient light and bringing in the power. Now again, I'm lying to you. I'm holding back. I'm duplicitous, right? This is Cinema Lighting 101. I can also make this light like kind of high, kind of low. Now we're getting back into that romantic lighting. As you can see, I kind of move in and out of this light. I need some better systems to position it though. Alright, the fact that I can move around. Unity's animation rigging. Go download it. That's my animation rigging tutorial. Oh. Ooh, look. Now you see how I'm still controlling that that rim lighting, which is actually the reflections. Do you remember Nagel? This is like my Duran Duran album cover from Nagel. This is the woman that witnesses the murder. Oops. May have to. Okay. Let me see if I can keep my eyes where the light is. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna act. I'm not an actor. But okay, here's me dropping out the ambient, and I'm dropping out the reflection. Let me also just take out this like glossy background. Actually, I'll put back in the controller so you can kind of see the controls as I move them. So no ambient, no reflection. A little bit of reflection. And you see, you don't need much to just like bring back in something's obnoxious with my ears. Adjust my occlusion map. And if I bring in the ambient again, this just kind of softens everything. It's almost like more romantic. Also, you can do duplicitous this way. Someone's telling you, I'm telling you the secret plot, but because you can't see my eyes, I'm obviously lying to you, right? Alright, how would you do this, you know? What's dramatic? Oh, I'm a hacker. Tappity, 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 tappity. I'm hacking the mainframe, y'all. Anyone who doesn't have good lighting in Unity is a jerk. Take the time to light. Learn the lighting. It's not hard. I'm using a spotlight. And don't use distance lights unless you're doing it like I am as a backlight, as a rim light. That's the only reason you want to use a distance light. And even then, don't do it. Basically, don't do what I'm saying because I'm just trying to make it more difficult for you. No, I'm not. Please fix your lighting. Fix your lighting. Oh yeah, so Unity's animation rigging. Should I talk about it? Should I show you some boring ass Unity desktop? I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. Be creative, y'all. Don't just be technical. And if you're making a game, don't have sucky lighting. If you're doing cutscenes, because life is just a cutscene, do good lighting. Make good lighting, y'all. Good lighting. Good lighting is interesting, it's dramatic, and it makes sense. And it's not just, you know, the crap lighting that was in the room. No. You have to individually light all of your characters, and you have to do something interesting that says something with everything. Otherwise, don't do it. That's my advice to you. One last thing. I don't know, guys. Like, oh, look, that's what's happening. I'm rotating. What the hell? Why am I? How am I like all the way rotated? Rotate the lighting too. Alright, this is some kind of broken thing with I assume it's this idle animation. Because my head is still aligned to the camera, to the world space, and eventually my body's just gonna keep going around until my head just like twists off like a candy wrapper. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to listen and take a look at this and decide if I want to share any of it with you. I'll see you in a minute.